Then the girl in the corner with the scarlet letter. While you're watching, you may think that she doesn't matter, but no one knows you better.
Hi guys, I'm Jubel Loria and I'm here to give you the summary of chapter 3, which is network protocols and communication. So in telecommunication, a communication protocol is a system of rules that allows two or more entities of a communication system transmit information via any kind of variation of physical quantity. The protocol defines the rule syntax, semantic, and synchronization of communication and possible error recovery methods. Protocol may be implemented by hardware, software, or the combination of both. Communicating system use will define formats for exchanging various message. Each message has an exact meaning intended to response from a range of possible responses predetermined for what particular situation. So the first is the mm, communication fundamentals. So a network can be as complex as devices or as simple as two computers directly connected to one another with a single cable and anything in between. Networks can be vary in size, shape, and function. So people can exchange ideas using many different communication methods. However, regardless of the method chosen, all communication methods have three elements in common. The first of these elements, the message source or sender. The second element is of communication is the destination or receiver the message. So the a third element called a channel consists of the media that provides the pathway over which the message travels from source to destination. So communication begins with a message or information that is sent from a source to a destination. The sending of this message, whether by face-to-face communication or over a network. So next is the rule of establishment. Before communicating with the one another, individuals must use established rule or agreements to govern the conversation. So, unidentified sender and receiver. The protocol must account for the following requirements. I, an unidentified sender and receiver, common language and grammar, speed and timing of delivery, confirmation of acknowledgement requirements. So the protocol that occurs in network communication share many of these fundamental traits. So the message encoding. So the message encoding of a message is the production of message. It is a system coded meanings, and in order to create, the sender needs to understand how the word is comprehensible to the members of the audience. So next is the message formatting encapsulation. So letter write when a message is sent from source destination, it must use in specific format or structure. The process of putting one message format inside another message format is called encapsulation. When the process is received by the receiver, the letter is removed from the envelope. It is referred to as a de-encapsulation. So, in many cultures, a personal letter contains the following elements: an identifier or the recipient, so the salutation or the greeting, the message content, the closing phrase, the identifier of the sender. So the encapsulation occurs when the process is received by the recipient and the letter is removed from the envelope. So if the destination address and formatting are not correct, the letter is not delivered. So the message size. The message trace is the when people communicate with each other, the message can be sent are usually broken into smaller parts of sentence. These sentences are limited in size to what the received person can process at one time. So, an individual conversation may be made up of many smaller sentences to ensure that each part of message is received and understood. So likewise, when a long message is sent from host to another over a network, it is necessary to break the message into smaller pieces. Next is the message timing. So these are the rules of engagement for message timing. So next, the message timing. So the access method and the flow control, those So the message delivery option, the client web portal, directly line provides every client with a secure web portal free of charge. So the secure interactive messaging, the SMS text, the email, the warm patch transfer, the voicemail, and the fax. So the access method is the determine someone when someone is able to send a message. If two people talk at the same time, a collision of information occurs, and it is necessary for the two to back off and start again. So the flow control is the timing also affect how much the information can be sent and speed that it can be delivered. If one person speaks too quickly, it is difficult for the another person to hear and understand the message. So the response timeout is if a person asks a question and does not hear a response within an acceptable amount of time, the person assumes that no answer is coming and reacts accordingly. The person may repeat the question or may go with the conversation. So the next is the message delivery option. So the delivery option, there are also times when the sender of a message needs to be sure that message is delivery successful to the destination. In this case, it is necessary for the recipient to return an acknowledgement to the sender. If no acknowledgement is required, the delivery option is referred to as an acknowledge. So when a host needs to send message using one-to-many delivery option is referred to as a multicast. Multicasting is the delivery of the same message to the group host destination simultaneously. So if all hosts on the network need to receive the message at the same time, a broadcast may be used. Broadcasting represents a one-to-all message delivery option. Some protocols use a specially multicast message that is sent to all devices. So, additionally, hosts may be required to acknowledge the recipient from some messages while not needing to acknowledge others. So, the next is the rules of the governed communication. So, one of the best ways to visualize how the protocols within the suite interact is to view the interaction as a stack. A protocol stack shows how the individual protocols within the suite are implemented. The protocols are viewed in the terms of the layers with each high-level service. So the lower layers of the stack are considered with the moving data over the network and providing service to the upper layers which are focused on the content of the message being sent. So the networking protocols define a communication and set of rules. So a network protocol set rules followed by the network protocols are formal standard and policies made of the rules, procedures, and format that defines communication between two or more devices over a network. So the protocol interaction protocol defines the steps in which the communicative acts are sent between different agents. The sending can be done either in the parallel or as a choice between different communicative acts. It shown the duration of the conversation between two or more agents. So the HTTP and the TCP are the protocols shown in the figure. So the HTTP is the application protocol that governs the way a web server and web client interact. So the HTTP defines the content and formatting of the request and responds the exchange between the client and the server. But the client and the server software implemented the HTTP. So the TCP is the transport protocol that manage individuals' conversation. TCP divides the HTTP message. These segments are sent between the web server and client process running at the destination. The IP is the responsible for talking the formatted segment of the TCP and encapsulating them into packets, assigning the address and delivery them to the destination host. So the Ethernet is a network access protocol that describes two functions: communication over the data link and the physical transmission on the network media. Next is the protocol suite and industry standard. So the TCP/IP protocol were initially developed as part of the research network developed by the United States Defense Advanced Research Project Agency in 1973. Development of a full-fledged system of Internet working protocols for the ARPANET began. So the TCP protocol suite is the TCP protocol suite is the conceptual model of the set of communication protocol used in the Internet and similar computer network. It is commonly known as TCP/IP because the foundational protocols in this suite are the Transmission Control Protocol and the Internet Protocol. Next is the development of the TCP/IP. So the Transmission Control Protocol accepts in the data from a data stream, divides it into chunks and adds to the TCP header, creating a TCP segment. The TCP segment next is the TCP segment is the encapsulate into an internet protocol datagram and exchange with peers. So the TCP/IP protocol set is implemented as stack on both the sending and receive the host to provide end-to-end delivery of application over the network. Next is the TCP/IP communication. So the this is process and which protocols will be covered in more detail in the chapters. Next is open standard. So open standard is standard that is publicly available and has various rights to use associated with it and may have various properties of how it designed. There is no single definition and interpretation vary with usage. So the standard organization are usually vendor-neutral non-profit organization established to develop the promote concept of an open standards. So the Internet standards are the Internet Society, Internet Architecture, Internet Engineering Task Force, Internet Research Task Force, and the standards organization is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, Internet Assigned Numbers from Authority. So that's all guys. The summary of chapter 3.